Hello everyone, my name is Bhumika Gohil and today's topic is Beyond Masala, Existentialism in Indian Cinema. So these are my academic information. Introduction to Existentialism. As Akash provided a very introduction of existentialism, I would not go into brief in this. So existentialism is basically a philosophical movement that emerged in the late 19th and early 20th century and primarily in Europe, and it focuses on individuals' experience of existence. And so, individual is at the center of this philosophy, and the idea that existence precedes essence is prominent in this philosophy. So it shows that individuals, human beings, do not have a predetermined destiny or a purpose in life that is already decided for us. So basically, we have to make our own meaning and purpose in life, and there is this the freedom on individual that, and you have to take responsibility of your action, and whatever your life will turn out to be will be because of your actions. And as John Paul Sartre has said, that humans are condemned to be free. So freedom is seen as a burden in this philosophy, and there is also an acknowledgement of inherent anxiety that comes with this freedom. That because we are the master of our own fate, whatever will happen will be our responsibility, and this gives people anxiety. So this is the basic idea of existentialism. Uh, Through this presentation, I will try to examine the portrayal of existential themes in selected Bollywood films, and can we identify recurring motives and narrative techniques that contribute to a nuanced understanding of existentialism within the Indian cinema. For my exploration, I have chosen the movie Pyasa by Guru Dutt, Anand by Rishikesh Mukherjee, and Mrinal Sen's Ek Din Achanak. So let me give you a brief about Vyasa. So Vyasa follows the story of Vijay, who is a struggling poet, and he is rejected by society and his loved one as well. And despite his talent, he is dismissed by the literary establishments, and nobody is publishing his works. And he lives a very pessimistic existence. And he finds solace in his poetry and the company of a compassionate prostitute named Gulabo. She's the only one who understands his poetry and likes it. And so Vijay also, along with, in this journey, he encounters wealthy publishers who try to exploit his poetry and do not give him enough credit. And when they eventually they say that Vijay, due to some accident, Vijay is in hospital, and the publishers and everyone says that he has died, and basically holds a funeral to make the poetry more popular. And so Vijay gains popularity after his presumed death. And this he is so disillusioned by it that he refuses to accept himself as Vijay. And he says that yes, I'm not Vijay, and he accepts that the real poet is dead. And he leaves that town. So there is a bittersweet resolution. And basically, the movie questions the values of materialistic society. So let us see existentialism in the movie Pyasa. So Vijay is a poet who is rejected by everyone. His family and his older brothers, they often bully him, and they say that you are living on our money and you are not doing enough contribution to the house. And because of that, he's forced to leave the house, and lives alone, and he's very lonely because of this. And his poetry is not accepted and even sold to scrap dealers for very cheap price, despite it being very talented. And all the other publishers say that his poetry is based on realities of life, poverty, and everything like that. And people say to him that you write love poetry; those are more famous. And so it shows that his lack of recognition. And in this movie, through Vijay's poems and songs, existential theme is explored. Here is an example. So there is a song called "Ye Mahal Ye Takhte Riwazo Ki Dunya." And another one which is very famous, you might have heard, is "Jaane Wo Kaise Log The Jinke Pyar Ko Pyar Mila." So both of these songs show this existential theme, and they express the hollow and ugly world that the poet lives in. And another thing is, because of all this disillusionment and alienation from society, Vijay adopts alcoholism. And this highlights his existential crisis and search for a reason to live. And in the end, Vijay chooses to abandon this society, as we discussed the ending. So he decides that he does not want to live here. He goes away with Gulabo, and he goes to live elsewhere. But even in the film's ending, because his death is profiting selfish people. So this also reinforces the existential themes of the movie and the futility of life within a materialistic society. Now let me give you an introduction of the movie Anand. So in Pyasa, we saw a very pessimistic view of existentialism. Anand is completely opposite. Here we meet Anand, who is a terminally ill patient, and he might die in a few months. But he's not saddened by his own death or news of it, and he tries to have a positive outlook on life, and he lives and brings joy and inspiration to everyone around him as well. So it explores his relationship with Dr. Bhaskar and a journalist named Renu and impact he has on people around him. And despite his illness, Anand approaches each day with enthusiasm and humor, and he leaves a lasting legacy of hope and love. Let us understand existentialism in the movie Anand. So before introduction of Anand, we meet Dr. Bhaskar, played by Amitabh Bachchan, and he lives a very pessimistic life. He sees the poverty around him, the sickness, and he is constantly bothered by the idea that he may not be able to help everyone, and that there are so many sicknesses that have no cure for it. And this, because of all this, he has developed a pessimistic view on life. Anand's philosophy on life and death, and Anand sees death as a natural part of life, and he accepts it. And he is not. He says that it is not something to be feared, and this deeply impacts Dr. Bhaskar's philosophy as well. And Anand believes that one should live big rather than trying to live long. So it is. It does not matter how long we live, but it is important on how we live, what we do. As Divya Tripathi mentions, Divya Tripathi compares the idea of death that Anand has to the idea of death that Toru possesses in The Plague by Albert Camus. And Anand's action and worldview end up having a transformative effect on other characters as well, as I mentioned, especially Dr. Bhaskar. So he is a transformed person after he met Anand. And there is another quest in Anand. He always is in search for long lost friend Murari Lal. So there is no true Murari Lal. He just, whenever he finds somebody interesting on the street and he wants to connect with them, wants to be friends with them, he goes there and he says that, first he says hello and then says, oh, I'm sorry, I mistaken you for my friend Murari Lal. And that's how he builds connection. And this shows the existential idea of forging meaningful relationship. That even if everything does not have a meaning, that does not mean that we do not live happily and we live joy. And we just, be sorrowful all the time. And existentialism idea that even in the face of absurdity of life, we can connect meaningfully with the people and we can create friendships and meaningful relationships. And when Anand dies, it is portrayed as an inevitable thing, and it is not like it is sad, but not tragic. And he lives. As he left the world, he imparts valuable lessons about living life to the fullest, and focuses on bringing joy to others and not dwelling on one's own suffering. As the famous dialogue says, that Anand Maranani, Anand Marte. Now let me introduce you to the movie Ek Din Achanak. Ek Din Achanak, directed by Mrinal Sen, is about a history professor, Shashank Ray, and one evening he goes out for a walk in the rain and he does not return. And the entire movie is basically his family waiting for him, that when will he be back, and they are making assumption that why would he leave. So that is basically the plot. And after the disappearance of the professor, the family is they have to continue living as normal people, and they have to go back to their daily activities. But behind that, they are deeply wounded, and they always are trying to question that why did the professor leave, and his disappearance raises more questions than they answer. So the ending also is very ambiguous. We do not know what happened. And this is very similar to, we can say, Samuel Beckett's play Waiting for Godot, because there is this uncertain waiting and anxiety, and no clear answers are provided. Now let us say existentialism in Ek Din Achanak. So through the character of history professor, we see existential ideas are portrayed, and his unexplained disappearance, and then his family's futile attempt to find meaning in it, like why did he disappear, what would have happened. They are trying to understand it, but there are no clear answers, and this shows the absurdity of human condition. We do not know the answers of why we are here or our purpose in life, and we might never. there is a cryptic note that professor left behind before he left, and that is that कुछ दिनों से अच्छा नहीं लगता, कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं लगता. So this indicates the feeling of anxiety and what kind of mental state he was in. And based on this, the family members are making assumptions that what could have happened. And so they are assuming that maybe professor left because he was having an existential crisis, and he had this realization that life can only be lived once, and no matter what happens, this is our only chance at life, and we are never getting this life again. And that realization is bringing existential crisis to him. And other interpretation is also that he has realized his own normality. So he realized that at the end of the day, he's a very normal person. He has not achieved greatness, and there is a possibility that he might never will. So because of this, the anxiety that comes into his mind is greatly disturbing, and maybe that is why he has left. A very clever comparison that the film provides is that the professor sees a clock, and the clock does not have an hour hand, but the minute hand is running. So he says that the clock is fine, but you can never know the meaning. So what time it is can never be known because there is no hour hand. And he compares this to human life, that there is no meaning in this life. We do not know what is the purpose of this life, but we have to continue living because the minute hand is working. So this comparison is given in the film, which I find very interesting. Now, some common motifs and narrative techniques used by all these three films. As we can see that the existential theme is dealt with in very different manner in all these three films. Pyasa deals with a pessimistic view of existentialism, whereas Anand deals with gives a positive outlook on existentialism, and Ek Din Achanak just shows the anxiety of existential questioning that one has when we do not know the certain meaning of things. Some common motifs that are used in all these three films are disillusionment and alienation. The characters are disillusioned by their reality and they feel alienation from the society. They are not able to connect with the people they are living in. And there is a search for meaning and purpose in life. And another thing is the realization of human mortality and fleeting nature of life. And life is going to end and it is not permanent. And this realization and how different characters are dealing with it is shown in the films. Some narrative techniques that are used are symbolisms and metaphors, as we mentioned, the clock metaphor and everything. So they are used to show this existential themes. Other than that, dialogues and monologues are used by all these three films to convey the existential themes. And introspective narration is also seen in all of these. Now, to conclude, through these timeless classics, we witness the exploration of existential ideas such as disillusionment, alienation, the search for meaning, and the tension between conformity and authenticity. Through these thought-provoking movies, we can witness the depth of Indian cinema in exploring philosophical ideas and existential dilemmas. And these films not only entertain but also provoke introspection, challenging viewers to confront their own existential questions and consider the choices that shape their lives. These are my references, and I would like to end my presentation with the famous dialogue from Anand. Babu Mosha's zindagi badi honi chahiye, lambi nahi. So now for your questions.
Bhumi, how has the portrayal of existential themes evolved in the Indian cinema over time?
As we can see, the older films of Guru Dutt and the films of that time, they used to explore philosophical questions of existentialism very deeply. Nowadays, if you see, not much film like this are coming, and philosophical themes are explored in, I would say, like a modern perspective in movies like Tamasha and like them. But yeah, so it is not that much prominent in current cinema, I would say. Next.
My question is, are there any new Bollywood movies movies that explore exceptionalism?
As I said, the mainstream Bollywood has basically shifted to action-packed masala movies, and the only goal is to bring as many people to theater as possible. So there are not many philosophical exploration, but we can find movies like Tamasha, Dear Zindagi, and all of them. They explore philosophical ideas, but new movies are not that much leaning towards philosophy, I would say. Thank you for your time.